Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, I played another game for the first time. Now, normally we've talked about RPGs as of late. I played Chrono Trigger and beat that for the first time. I played Final Fantasy IX and beat that for the first time. We're switching it up a little bit, going to our side-scrolling roots with a Game Boy Advance exclusive, which then was ported to PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox via the Mega Man Zero and ZX collection. And I played Mega Man Zero for the first time ever, and do I have some thoughts? For those who don't know, Mega Man is one of my favorite all-time series, specifically the X franchise. I love that. I actually haven't played a lot of the Legacy collection, if you will, and I never played any of the Zero games before until I sat down, played, suffered, and then completed Mega Man Zero. This was an experience. So I have a lot to say. With that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're feeling that retro vibe, consider subscribing. We share a lot of first thoughts on games that are considered classics that I've never played before here on this channel, amongst many other bits of retro content. With that, let's talk Mega Man Zero. So we're blessed here to have not only the PlayStation 4 version, but also the Game Boy Advance version. As you may have already guessed, the PlayStation 4 version presents the ugliest sight of all time to a video game collector, the disc on the right side. So that's all there is with this game. However, because I enjoyed it so much and because I want to collect all the Mega Man games one day, once I finish Zero, I made a rule of myself, beat this very difficult game, and you can reward yourself, Maddie. You can reward yourself with a complete in-box copy of Mega Man Zero. So I want to show you all what that would come with if you were to buy it on store shelves. As you can see, it's in a bit of a plastic protector here. I need to get better ones. I know there are more, we'll say, stiff ones compared to this piece of plastic here, but it gets the job done. It prevents a lot of shelf wear, and as you can see, this is a pretty crispy clean copy of the game. There's a little bit of a dent here. You got a little bit of a tear up here. I've realized when shopping for complete in-box Game Boy Advance games, you can pay upwards of like $100+ just to make sure you have none of those things as concerns. For me, a little wear and tear isn't going to ruin the copy for me. The corners are what matter most, and those are in really good shape here. So let's crack this open, and then we'll talk a bit about the game, the story, and how it kind of resonated with me, and especially the gameplay. So as you already saw, this is a Game Boy Advance game, meaning that we can slide out right here. Boom. There's the cartridge. Looking clean. I love this console so much. You all know I'm the handheld king, so we'll put that back here in its rightful position. And then, last but certainly not least, we got the Nintendo Power advertisement, and we have a bit of a manual here, a colored manual at that, with actual artwork. This is a pleasant surprise. If you've been watching a lot of the Retro Rebound content, you've probably noticed as of late that we've had a lot of black and white manuals. We understand that. It costs more to print the color manual, but these are just a sight to behold. Look at that artwork of Zero. You got Seal in the background. I think that's how you say your name. I apologize. Someone can correct me in the comments, but that's what comes with a complete in-box copy here of Mega Man Zero. So let's put that all back together. Oh, there's also the typical Game Boy Advance booklet. Sorry, I forgot about that. That's in here as well. So it came with everything. This cost me about, I want to say $100. Again, I'm a Mega Man freak. You don't want to know the price I paid for my Star Force copies, which is a series I also haven't explored quite as much as I'd like to as of yet, but just I owe so much to Mega Man as a series. The X series was fundamental to me. I discovered it with 8, and also I owe a lot to X Command Mission, Battle Network, just really important games. So with that, let's talk about Mega Man Zero, shall we? Let's actually get into it. Mega Man Zero, I got to talk about it on a story front first. I know that may surprise some of you because as the back of the box so aptly puts it right here, it says in very small text, I don't think the camera will catch it, but I'll read it for you, the most challenging Mega Man game yet. That is true. I have not played a more difficult Mega Man game in my life than the first Mega Man Zero. We'll get into why, but I want to talk about the story first. The reason for that is because what I didn't know, I went in blind with this series, is Mega Man Zero is a sequel series, if you will, to Mega Man X, which, as you just heard me say, the reason I prefaced it with all of that, it's my favorite Mega Man series. And I always felt like the X series resonated with me most as a kid because I felt like the storytelling there was actually a focus. And yeah, they overused Sigma a lot, and that got a bit tiresome. But I feel like characters such as Axel being introduced were genuine, exciting points in gaming history for me. So I was really happy to see when Mega Man Zero wraps up the way they tie it back to the X series. So for once, I do feel the need to actually spoil this game, because it is a very important point I'd like to make here on what the X series always drove home, and how Zero really, I feel, hits the nail on the head. So if you're playing Mega Man Zero, you're probably not playing for the story, and it's already a 20-plus-year-old game, so I don't know if I'm ruining anything for you, but spoiler warning. Anyway, once you beat the game and you fight Copy X, which is Zero's best friend and ally throughout the entire X series, right? Like, it starts off in the original X with X saving Zero, and Zero sacrificing himself at the end, and Zero's an enemy in X2, and you save him again, and it's just this relationship through war that these two build. And X has been gone for a while in Zero series. It's been 100 years since that game occurred, and it was so touching when the game finishes up that Zero says, "You can rest easy now, X, for a little bit longer. I'll handle this myself." I love that. That was so, as a Mega Man fan, this game has zero interesting bits of its story, I would argue, until that moment there just punches me in the face, and I'm like, yo, the whole entire X game. And I know a lot of people troll say X7, right? Because Mega Man just, he's not his best in X7. He's whining the whole time. But one thing that always X drove home was, I don't want to fight, I don't like war, but I do this because it's the right thing to do. And when he's resting, and it seems like after 100 years of fragile peace that the world can rest easy, Zero takes up the mantle, fights a copied version of X who's leading Neo Arcadia, the main antagonist group here. And when he beats him, it's like his pledge to him, I've got this now. Again, just a really, if you're a big Mega Man fan, this was a powerful moment, I thought. I love this about this game. And it really hooked me in, because what I read online was people said, like, Zero as a series has a pretty good story. And I believe that now. Like, I definitely believe that, because there are cool tidbits here and there, just like any Mega Man game. That's why when I said earlier, like, it's not going to blow you away with its storytelling. But that there was a true moment where the bridge that was connected resonated with me big time. All right, so that's really all I had to say on the story front. Let's move to the gameplay. This game, this game is difficult. Wow. Wow. Okay. So first of all, again, the reason I have this copy here and the original copy here is because there were major design decisions changed in this version of the game versus this one. Did you know the original Mega Man Zero didn't even have checkpoints? So if you died, it's all over. I mean, yeah, Mega Man was a hardcore series, but this game was so difficult that even in the Zero collection on PS4, when I was playing this game and I was reloading my saves, dying 1,000,001 times, all that kept running through my head is, how did anyone beat this version ever? And I'm serious about that. This is legitimately one of the hardest games I've ever played. Maybe that's crazy to some big Mega Man experts out there. Again, like, I've only lightly dabbled in the Legacy series. I know everyone's tier list of difficulty is different with the X series, especially, as that got progressively easier. But when it comes to 0-1, I had a tough time, and I think I might know why. So as you're going through the story, you're going to be fighting your typical stage bosses, but you're also going to be fighting the 4 guardians for Neo Arcadia, the right-hand generals, if you will, of Copy X. And when you get to these boss fights, and they start playing that track that, like, dun, 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 it's permanently ingrained in my head. That track will never, ever escape me because of the amount of times I heard it. And you couldn't skip any cutscenes, so when you were going through that final fight for probably, in my case, like the 40th time, I heard it again and again and again. You couldn't fast forward the cutscenes. That stunk. But you get to these fights, and there were moments I got dusted really fast. There is a steep learning curve here, And this game can pigeonhole you pretty fast is what I learned. That's why I said, I think I know what happened. So as you play this game and you complete stages, your skill will increase with certain weapons. You're 0, so not only can you use the saber, hua, but you can also use your buster. And as you use these things, your skill on them increases. There's other weapons you can get, like the boomerang weapon. And what will occur is, say, in my case, I used the Z-Saber a lot, right? So I had to get up close and personal to my enemies because I'm 0. Like, I want to use the saber, right? You'd unlock new combos, speed, damage. There was genuine progression there, and it felt good. Once you got to the bosses, and I'd start to look up like a guide saying, like, how did someone beat this? And I'd watch them just wax these guardians with ease using a buster fully upgraded. And I'm like, I can't do that now, because what happens is as you progress in the story, time moves on. You can't just replay stages, and the amount of hours it would take for me to upgrade, say, the buster in a proper manner to then beat these bosses to get the damage scaling there, I was pigeonholed. So it's like, it's Z-Saber or nothing here, which I think made it challenging for me. Not only that, but the cyber elves. There are 70 you can get throughout this game. You can upgrade these cyber elves, and they are a major part of keeping you alive. Simply put, the cyber elves will make life a lot easier for you. And so, yeah, I had like a small health bar. I had a Z-Saber fully upgraded. And what would start to occur is I would get 2 hit by pretty much every boss in this game. So what I noticed was this game was much more difficult for me than I think it was for most out there. Not only that, but there was an elemental factor that you really had to learn here, because there were 3 element chips. There was ice, lightning, fire. Some were weak to certain ones. It could be a little bit difficult to tell. With this cyber elf system, the element stuff, the upgrading, it's a lot of great systems, but for someone like me who went in blind, I got waxed a lot here. I got beat up pretty badly in Mega Man Zero, but it was rewarding. It was a truly great old school feeling when I beat that boss and I was like, let's go. Like, it was a fist pump moment. I know a lot of us nowadays with modern gaming talk about Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne as these like fist pumping moments for modern gaming that brings us back to those times. But nothing tops this feeling, right? Of getting borderline cheesed by a boss and it demanding perfection, especially in my case, again, with the way my Zero was leveled up, the way the health bar was very small, and how I was just using a Z-Saber. I had to know these patterns like the back of my hand. And I had to be on my game. Like, I couldn't talk. I had to dial in, lean forward. True old school gaming. While it was grueling, it did bring me back. And I appreciate it for that. But it was one of those games where you had to mentally pace yourself. I really had to take breaks and make sure I was giving myself time to recover when I started to get frustrated. Because it was that old tale that we've all heard before with boss fights, which is you can't beat it, you try and try again. Every single minute of that hour, you just can't break through. And then you try again that next day. First time, kaput, done. And it's like, wow, okay, well, that was easy. Huh, why was I struggling with this anyway? So there was a little bit of that. Again, just pure old school vibes here in Mega Man Zero. But it was a tough game. That's to put it lightly. And again, that's with the Zero Collection version, which had the auto saves. It had the reload points. So if I died, I would reload right before the boss, not have to go through the entire stage. There were a lot of additions to this version that made it a lot more forgiving. And it still was unforgiving. It's incredible how difficult this game was. So I can't wait to read the comments for this, because I'm sure there are some of you out there who have beat this game in its original form. I'd love to know how, because I can't fathom it at all. And I would consider myself not bad at games, and I definitely, as someone who grew up playing a lot of the X series, I wouldn't say I'm bad at these games either, but this was tough, and I'm wondering if it was just my build at the end of the day, and if anyone experienced those similar pigeonholings that I had experienced. But otherwise, this game was great, and right away I moved into Zero 2, because once you get a rhythm with this game, once I got through Zero 1 and I started to move into Zero 2, I wanted to pause to make sure I had time to, you know, digest the experience, maybe make a Zero 2 video, seeing how this one does. I wanted to give it some time, but when I hopped in, I already dusted a number of bosses, and it seemed way easier. And I was wondering, is it because I'm warmed up now? Like, I just beat Copy X and like I'm moving on to greener pastures now? Or was this something that is actually balanced a little bit better? What I've read online is 0-3 is where things are much more tolerable, and that 0, 1, and 2 are extremely hard. So I imagine it's just, you know, the game going easy on you in the early goings here. But again, I'm really looking forward to the feedback on this one, because I'm wondering if, like, it's just me. And I'm hoping that with us having a legacy collection on modern consoles, we have the 0 collection on modern consoles, we also have the X collection on modern consoles. I'm really hoping what's next is the Battle Network collection. I'm really hoping for that, because you already know, like, I'm a Battle Network boy. I'll be all over that here on this channel. And I already have all the Battle Network games complete in box on Game Boy Advance, so we will be on that. But I'm hoping that this is a sign that that's the next collection, because that's my personal favorite. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got to say on Mega Man 0, my first time playing through it. A real touching story conclusion if you've played the X games before, and really grueling gameplay. With that, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Looking forward to reading them, and I'll talk with all of you very soon. Peace out.